welcome to this, and this will be my review, kind of my live thoughts of both the Take No Prisoners pay-per-view taping that was this afternoon, and then the Hall of Fame, which I went to, which was a lot of fun. I know I said that there would probably be more videos today. Unfortunately, kind of a cross of schedules. There's a lot of the YouTube community here in Houston this weekend. Of course, most people already know, me and Bill and Doug. I think me and Doug, live maybe 15 minutes away from each other, for those of you who don't know, and I used to live even closer to Bill as well. So, for those of you not aware of that. So it wasn't like we weren't going to run into each other. But also, Crazy Mike is here, Gilbert is here, for those of you that know who he is. Also, MB700 is here, and a host of other guys that most people wouldn't know, because they basically just do a lot of commenting. But, are here as well. And there is a picture that Bill and Doug has with all of us, with a good number of us, I think about 5 or 10 of us, somewhere between 5 and 10 of us, that I'm sure they have. I'm sure they will upload at some point, because a lot of fun. It was, I met Bill and Doug at Victory Road. We didn't kill each other like some people probably thought we would, but we had a lot of fun, and Bill and Doug seemed to really enjoy at least last night's Ring of Honor show. I didn't get to talk to them after the show, but I did see their video, and they seemed to really like it, which was great. And, of course, I didn't get to talk to them after today's show either, but, today's show was pretty good, I thought. I don't think it had as good of the great stuff. They didn't have this will sound weird. You had two really, really great matches on last night's card. I think this card, while it didn't have that, was a more complete card in that there was more good stuff on it overall, just from being there live. I don't know how it'll turn out on pay-per-view, but we will wait and see, I guess. But I will just kind of give you my thoughts. I'll run down here, and then the Hall of Fame, which was a lot of fun. I'm glad I went to, not for probably the reason a lot of people thought, but I will get into that. So that was groovy. But yeah, I don't know, after this weekend, just today, not even talking about WrestleMania and the stuff that's going to go on tomorrow, I might make this an annual thing. I wanted to go last year, I didn't get a chance, but this is like fucking wrestling nirvana. I've never been to, of course, the big dome shows that New Japan has done at the beginning of the year. And that is said to be just as crazy, and I'd like to go to those someday, hopefully, someday. I actually have money to do so. But this was pretty fucking awesome weekend. I will awesome. Sorry, Brandon. I know you yelled at me for that before, but I'm just gonna say it. It's fucking awesome. Wish you were here, dude. Wish you were here. Anyways, let's get started with the pay-per-view taping, and then we'll just kind of go from there. But we started with Steel. I didn't get to see the intermission matches because I actually had to work today, and which sucked. The show started at 2. I got there just as the show was starting, so that was fine. But started the show out with Steel versus Colt Cabana. Longtime Ring of Honor fans, of course, know that they're supposed to be buddies. We got some silliness. Steel wound up playing the heel. It was short. It was a lot of playing to the crowd. I don't know how people will feel about that. I think a lot of the I'll get into that now. Well, there's a lot of, I would say, old Ring of Honor fans, but they're not. It's more of the fans that Gabe brought in once he started bringing more of the Noah guys, and the Japanese influence really took off as opposed to before. It was there, but it wasn't there to the extent. I would say. Probably wouldn't like this as much because it was a lot of playing to the crowd. It was a lot of, that sort of thing. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun live. I don't know how it will come out on pay-per-view or DVD, but we'll see. It was good, and I thought it was okay. It was an okay match, and much better than the Colt Cabana match from last night, without a doubt. So there was that. Then we got a match that will not air on the pay-per-view, but will be on the DVD apparently. Rhett Titus versus Bushwhacker Luke. Bushwhacker Luke on both nights was warmly accepted. I think because this is while this is definitely, you had a lot of Ring of Honor fans there, you also had a lot of, I think, more along the lines of the true kind of just long time, die-hard wrestling fans that got that this was just supposed to be a fun match. Played into Bushwhacker Luke. People liked it. I'm sure some people hated it because they were like, who wants to see Bushwhacker Luke? It was short. It was, and Rhett Titus went over. So, and, of course, most people know this, but Kerry and Bushwhacker Luke are really good friends, apparently. And, so that's why he's on some of these shows. But there we go. Then we got, the next match, which will be on pay-per-view, which was Chris Hero, Incognito, and the American Werewolves versus Kevin Steen, El Generico, Magno, and Jay Briscoe. This was very good. Live, this was very good. I don't know how it will come out on the DVD. I would expect this match seemed like it would come off about the same. But was very good. Really enjoyed it. Played up into the whole American Dragons, El Generico, and Steen type of thing. Magno and Incognito worked pretty well together. Jay Briscoe was mad over. I would have loved to have seen in Houston just how over the Briscoes would have been, because Jay was over both nights, just big time. Good, fun match. Lots of dives. This probably should have been the opener, in my opinion, but hey, what are you going to do? There we go. Next, we got Jimmy Jacobs versus Necro Butcher. Hardcore match. Good, fun brawl, I would say, though I didn't get to see much of it because Necro and Jimmy were on the other side of the arena, brawling up into the cheap seats and all of that, giving those fans, some up-close and personal time, because I paid for expensive seats, so I had good seats the whole time. So I kind of understand that. That's cool. I'm sure this will come out much better on DVD. Necro got cut open huge. Jimmy got cut open. Nasty, just sick chair shots. The chair shots, I usually, the unprotected chair shots don't bother me sometimes. They bothered me here. This was just stupid for them to take this. But it looked like a good match, so we'll have to wait and see there. But it looked like a pretty good match from where I was sitting, so we'll see. Next we had Blue Demon Jr. Versus Claudio Castagnoli versus Brent Albright. Of course, Nigel was supposed to be in this match. Nigel came out, said he couldn't be in this match because of his arm. Did a little speech, and the fans thanked him, which was very cool, by the way, because considering how many fans did not like Nigel when he got the championship and everything that went through, the fact that he was very over afterwards. Claudio came out. They did kind of a little angle where Claudio attacked Nigel. Went from there. I would have liked to have seen more of Blue Demon Jr. in this, particularly Blue Demon Jr. and Brent Albright, because, they're both NWA guys, so I would imagine they probably worked together before, and you would think that they would have some sort of chemistry with each other, but it was what it was. This was okay. Nothing to write home about, that is for sure. Then we got Alex Kozlov versus Roderick Strong. I've heard some people say they thought this was excellent. To me, this was very good to good. It might come off better on DVD. I'm not quite sure. But it was a lot of fun. I know that. And, Strong was chopping the crap out of Kozlov. Kozlov was mad over, pretty much. He got over pretty quick, I would say. It probably helped that he took on Danielson the night before. But, even him, some other guys that were on the other side of the arena started a "We Love Commies" chant. So there was that. Oh, and for those of you wondering about the whole, I know some of you have heard about the passing out of the cake. There was 2 cakes at this show, so they brought 2 cakes this time, so that was cool. Apparently. But then we got the ROH champion, Sherry Lynn, Erick Stevens, D'Lo Brown, Bryan Danielson. I will go into this. Why this wasn't the main event, I don't know. I understand, because the match that wound up being the main event, was the best match. So I understand that part of it. But title match should always be the main event. Blah 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 blah. Definitely you could tell they weren't going to book this. Nigel to drop the titles this weekend, but with Nigel being hurt, that's what we got. So there you go. So they just kept it with the same, I guess. I don't know. Then we got Tyler Black. But it was a good match. I would say good to great. depending on what you liked. They kind of played up D'Lo versus Danielson, which was pretty fun. And then Jerry Lynn and Erick Stevens were just kind of there along for the ride and did a pretty good job, I thought. And had a lot of this. This was a fun match. Like I said, a very good to great match, I would say. And then we got Tyler Black, KENTA versus Austin Aries and Nakajima. This was not as good as last night's, but it was damn close. I think after last night, it's gonna be. I mean, honestly, if Taker and Sean take it upon themselves and say, yes, we know Ring of Honor exists, and we're going to upstage those little snot-nosed punks that mean nothing to us. If that is the case, they're going to have a hard time, because I think this match, Tyler Black and KENTA versus Austin Aries and Nakajima, is probably about as good as what I would expect to get from HBK and Undertaker. Maybe they will surprise me. Maybe they will do something truly amazing, which I wouldn't doubt. But this was a excellent match in my opinion. Very awesome. We got some KENTA and Nakajima, which if you've seen my top 10 list from this year, you will see they are having an insane feud between each other. I don't know if these guys can have a non-great match with each other. It is just sick. And, you had Austin Aries and Tyler Black in there. Very cool. When KENTA and Nakajima were they were kicking the living shit out of each other. The way Austin Aries and Tyler Black were selling it was so awesome. It wasn't even funny. Just great stuff. Really enjoyed it. I would say this was a great show. Not as good as last night's show, but that would be, in my opinion, I think last night's show might come off better on DVD. But this might come off better on pay-per-view. I'm not really sure. It'll be interesting to see. But I think both nights were very good. I know a lot of people were wondering if they were going to be able to pull this off. I do question, and a lot of people did, and I do question this, of putting, these usually are some of your better selling DVDs, and putting a pay-per-view on this, weekend seems kind of strange, but we'll see how that works out. But I'm glad they did. I'm glad I got to see pay-per-view. I'm glad I got to see Ring of Honor live finally. I've waited, like I said, since 2007. On the beginning of 2007 to see Ring of Honor live, and I finally did. It was well worth the wait. They definitely delivered. There was a, please come back chant. I doubt, we will probably ever see them come back. But they did apparently draw, more than 1,500 people. So, that's pretty groovy, in my opinion. So, there we go. And then, of course, walked over to the Hall of Fame, and I've heard people talk about this, and after being to the Hall of Fame, I completely fucking agree with this. The fact of they talk, guys, the Hall of Fame should be a much more intimate setting, meaning not in a big freaking arena like they did this time and they've been doing, and also a strongly enforced dress code. Because there are people that definitely show up to and you could tell that they are people that have been to, numerous kind of these shows, or just wanted to show up and dress up a little bit to the Hall of Fame. And were dressed to the nines, and then you had some people in shorts and a t-shirt. So it was very strange, very odd sort of thing. So I definitely would agree with that sentiment and I've heard a lot of people talk about that, of maybe, having the Hall of Fame tickets only be, somewhere where there's only going to be maybe 1,000 fans there. And you sell those tickets for, the cheap tickets being $100. Because then you will weed out, kind of the people you don't want there, and have a very strict, enforced, dress code. Are you going to be able to get maybe, the fans you really want to be there? I don't know, but I definitely think it would be better than what we got. I will say this. There was a guy who was in my section that annoyed the crap out of me, because I'm sitting there trying to watch the Hall of Fame, and he's looking at all the divas and talking about how hot the divas are. And I'm like, dude, can I watch the Hall of Fame, please? There was one little mess up. I don't think they fixed it till after, until Von Erick got ready to come out. But they didn't turn on all of the speakers for the intercom, so I couldn't hear Terry Funk or Dory Funk Jr.'s acceptance speech very well, but it was what it was. But anyways, got there. Was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. We got Terry Funk and Dory Funk went in first, and I didn't get to hear kind of their thing, but you know, Dusty Rhodes kind of putting them over, talking, you know, old style, calling, you know, Dory a shootist, and I'm also talking about the fact that, you know, they're considered gods. And America, you know, and the fact that these two guys are Americans and are thought of so highly in Japan, Dusty Rhodes tried to put over is like, you know, this is a big freaking deal that these two guys are thought so highly of in Japan. And so he tried to kind of put that over. There was a lot of that sort of thing with them, which was kind of cool. So and apparently I didn't get to hear it, but people told me there was a Muda reference. So yay Dory for the Muda reference. So that was kind of cool. Then we got Coco Beware, who actually had a very good speech, I thought, from what I heard. And it was a lot of fun. And, you know, Frankie tried to steal the show, as Frankie's bound to do. And it was nice to kind of hear Honky Tonk Man induct him. I know a lot of people weren't happy about it, but, you know, it is what it is. And, you know, the Hall of Fame isn't really a Hall of Fame. You know, if you really want to see a true pro wrestling Hall of Fame, that would be the Cauliflower Club. And, but it was what it was, and wasn't too bad, and kind of enjoyed it. And actually, you know, I thought he gave a pretty good little speech. Then we got the Von Erichs going in, and I thought, you know, Michael P.S. Hayes did such an excellent job of putting over just how important the Von Erichs were. I'm sure there will be a lot of criticism about the Von Erich package, because it didn't talk about, you know, the tragedy. It didn't talk about any of that. It was more about their accomplishments, and really that's what it should have been. It shouldn't have been about, you know, the rest of it. And then Kevin came out. I thought he gave an okay speech, not a great speech, but you know, I definitely think he you know, really conveyed, you know, kind of his love of the business, and that, you know, people will say what they will, but that he seemed like he still loved the business, even though of everything that's happened. And it was a lot of fun. And Michael P.S. Hayes is, you know, him inducting them was very cool, I will say. But, you know, I'm from Texas, though, so the Von Erichs are you know, gods here, so it's a pretty big deal. We got Howard Finkel, who probably did have the best speech of the night, I thought. Very good stuff. Mean Gene Okerlund put him in, and he had a very well thought out, very good speech. And you know, he kind of the new, you know, WWE champion, and he kind of did the new WWE inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. So that was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that, and well deserved. Howard Finkel, it may be one of the best ring announcers, period. I wouldn't just say in pro wrestling. I mean, he just had a great, as he said in his speech, a God-given voice, and it was very good. Next we had Bill Watts, and this probably wasn't the best speech, but it was probably my favorite. At this point, because they definitely, you could tell that in Houston, for those of you who don't know, scalping is not technically illegal. So there was a lot of empty seats because scalpers weren't able to sell them. And so they moved a lot of people from the upper deck down to the lower deck to kind of fill at least the hard camera angles so that it looked like it was full. And so I got moved down there, and we're sitting down there, and a lot of people didn't know who Bill Watts was. And so I was kind of telling them, and I said, man, he really might give the best speech because he's really good. He's a really good talker, and his shoot interviews are awesome. Just depends on how long they let him go. And he went for a long time. I loved his speech. People probably didn't like the whole God thing at the end, but hey, it's Bill Watts, and that's what you're going to get with him. But I thought he did an excellent job. And I really, really liked his speech. Of course, I love his shoot interviews, so that's probably why. But it was very, very cool. And then we got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Ric Flair came out to induct him, and that was awesome. And it was all sorts of awesome. It was all sorts of awesome to be there live and just to see, you know, Ricky talk about it, and Ricky talk about the guys that, you know, he feels like he kind of influenced and kind of had a hand in, you know, making into great guys. So that was a lot of fun. And finally we got Stone Cold Steve Austin going in, and you know, there was a lot of, you know, I would say poking at Hulk Hogan, as Vince Cole, you know, stated that, you know, Austin set all sorts of records, basically broke a lot of Hogan's records. Also, he called him the greatest WWE superstar of all time, and all, you know, this was a big dig at Hulk Hogan. A lot of this. Stone Cold came out, he had his little speech, but he really didn't speak from the speech. He just kind of just went with the flow and just kind of thanked the fans, and actually told the fans that he was sorry that he didn't put over Brock Lesnar and that he left. Took his ball and went home with it, as the WWE put it, and as he put it. And he wanted to thank the fans for still being behind him, and that he still thought that, you know, he did the right thing, and he wanted to apologize to the guys as well, and all of that sort of thing. So that was kind of cool. His speech, I heard some people when we were walking out didn't really like his speech, but you know, he wasn't a speech that, it wasn't the speech he prepared. You could tell it was the speech that he felt like he should have done just kind of off the cuff, and that's Steve Austin. So that was kind of cool. But good night, good day. Enjoyed myself. I know I said that there'd probably be more videos, but like I said, there was a lot of scheduling conflicts with that, so just wasn't able to do it. Maybe tomorrow, we will see. But with that, I am out. I will talk to you guys later.